I'm back again. We start off the first video with me just badgering, basically, and so we went into our second video, which gave you a little more of an idea of what to use in the start of spring. One thing I want to emphasize on is when you're creek fishing or river fishing, safety for yourself is very important. Trust me, I've been out there, like I say, if you've been out there too and you've cut yourself or hurt yourself or stuck a hook in your friggin' hand or whatever the hell may happen out there, you sort of do need to be prepared. One thing, you know, obviously for just about everyone and for how much they cost nowadays, are the multi-tools. And these multi-tools having a blade on them, grippers, you know, different implements, even like a little screwdriver and stuff. Things go wrong with the equipment. You know, you may have to tighten a screw or whatever the case is. I've lost a screw out of my fly rod once, on the actual reel, I mean, and trying to find one to replace one is just about impossible. And so being able to, like I say, before you start, you know, fly fishing for the day, make sure everything's tightened up, make sure everything's there. You know, look over your equipment, make sure that you know that there's nothing wrong with it physically as far as you can see. Nothing's worse than getting, you know, 2 hours down a creek or whatever and find out there was something wrong with your equipment, and now you're walking back another 2 hours to fix whatever you got because you don't have anything like this just to help you out. And a little multi-tool is an amazing thing to have. I also carry another just small, you know, 2.5 inch blade, like a little blade. And again, for that reason, who knows why I may use it for 100 different things. But one thing to be careful about too is something like I see guys using scissors a lot, and scissors are to me a bad thing. People put them in pouches and they stick their hands in, they jab themselves with them, they poke their neoprene pants. You know, you can do a lot of damage with a pair of scissors, believe it or not. And obviously, like these days, the like the stuff they have, like this little clipper unit here. So all you do is, you know, squeeze down on it and it cuts the line for you just perfectly. It's nice and flat on the end. This one also has a little pin in it, if you can see, to like a lot of the flies that you do buy these days, they don't really clean the ends of them very well. So when you're out there in the stream, and before I even had this type of item, say 10 or 15 years ago, you know, here you got thing in your mouth and you're trying to chew the friggin' glue off of it. It's not good for the teeth, trust me. And so a small little tool like this is great to have. This particular one is from Fish Pond. You can't get any better gear than Fish Pond stuff as far as I'm concerned. It's an amazing piece of equipment. Anything they make is probably almost twice as expensive as anybody else's stuff, but I tell you, it's worth every penny. I attach mine onto like a belt loop line, and it's a pretty thick line system that I use. Those small ones that you hook on and you pull down and that, they break, and then they're nothing but a nightmare. I go with something big and solid. Also, I use this when I float fish, and basically I have a clip on the end and I can attach it to my float tube and I don't have to worry about losing a thing. If it drops out of my hands in the water, it's there, it's attached, I'm not going to lose it. So that's all you need is, you don't need scissors, you just need a good pair of clippers. Even fingernail clippers, they work great. You know, just something not pointing sharp. Like I've seen guys use these things, and unless you're using scissors that have a round end on them, then, you know, no problem. They're great to have. A lot of people like scissors because they work very fine. Same as my pinchers to remove hooks and that from. Again, hooked up on the line system, same thing. I'm not going to lose it in the creek. You know, I'm always going to have it. And again, when I go to the lakes and I float tube, and that's what I have. So I've got two. I've got one pair just to take out the hook. It's all I need. and something when I'm replacing my flies and that to tie them to get rid of the little butt ends of the strings and stuff. And like I say, your multi-tool, very important. One thing that's super important to bring with you though also is in my sack here, I have the way it's divided. It's got two kind of panels here, but in here I carry my bug spray always, and my afterbite, thing of Kleenex. I put big swabs of band-aid swabs and bandages. I've cut myself before out there on rocks and on trees. Like say you're going through the bush and you go to put your hand against a tree and there's a little stub sticking out, and I tell you, it hurts like hell, and you need to get that taken care of right away. Especially when I keep fishing the rest of the day, because that's what I usually do. If I get hurt and I'm an hour in on a creek, I ain't turn around and get back, just got a little puncture wound in my hand. I'm going to fix it, take care of it, a little bit of cream, whatever the case is. Whatever you feel that you think you might need, put it in your little sack here. Like I say, you don't need anything big. This is a small little unit, easy to handle. It's got a handle on top, opening. One thing I say about having your little knife in that, you catch a nice little brook trout or brown, you want to keep it to eat it. I have a cooling pack that I put inside in here, so I clean the fish immediately, and take off its head, everything, and just throw them into the sack, and it's nice and cool. When you get home, they're fresh, just like you bought them out of the creek and just started to cook them. Nothing's worse. Like I said, I remember years ago, I had a fish that I've had for 3 or 4 hours. I'm taking the guts out of them, another an hour drive home, and get this thing. It's like a piece of cardboard. You don't want that. You want some nice fresh little fish, and these little fish, rainbows and browns and that are up in these tributaries, that water is clean as clean can get. You can drink that friggin' water. Other than cow crap and that going in it, and it's a little bit of deer and stuff like that, obviously be careful, but it's very clean water. I've drank before, I've never gotten sick before, but now I do carry my bottle of water like everyone has. But anyways, getting away from the topic a bit, but another thing that I always do carry with me is my fly spray, and this is Loon, and it's a floating. Again, when the first flies that start to hatch, like your mayfly and that, when they start to take off, and again, a lot comes down to water temperature. They call it mayfly just because of it happens to be May, but it's not necessarily saying that it's just going to happen in May. April, March, you never know. You may always want to keep a little bit of spray on you. So it just keeps the fly nice and buoyant. So if you are seeing fish that are top water feeding, a little spray of this on it, and that'll keep it going really well. I see a lot of guys trying to dry their flies by casting and casting and casting. Well, again, you don't got your line in the water, you ain't catching no fish. So one little spray of this, and bing bang bang, you're gone. You're ready to go. Now, earlier I was talking about attractors, and these are a couple I'm going to show you here, and I sort of showed you one before, but if you can see these attractors, they're just look like a bug basically, but you can see the different colors. I got purple, I have green, I have a little bit of one with an orange head, and like I say, you'll never find these bugs anywhere. These bugs do not exist. But can you catch fish on them? You're damn right you can catch fish on them. And having a good attractor, know when to use it and how to use it. One thing about the bead head too is it gets it down nice and quick, and with a 4-pound tippet, there's really not a lot of weight on that line that's keeping it buoyant, so it pretty well sinks to the bottom fairly fast. If you're fishing a really, really fast current, just beef up the size. I see you guys putting split shots on lines and that. Anything you put onto a line is just something to cause a problem, if you ask me. It's going to get hooked up on something, or caught in a rock, or stuck on a branch, or wrapped around, because when something flows naturally, and you've seen it, and I've seen it with a split shot on it too, goes by a little stick, and the split shot's just heavy enough to bounce and catch it. Next thing you know, the line floats around and starts going around the stick. Now you're trying to pull the thing out, your line's getting all kinked up, and it's getting edges on it and scratches on it and stuff, which is going to make it easier to break. So split shots and things like that, you don't need them. Use the weight of the fly. The fly is your way of getting down there. There are, you know, different lines out there and stuff like that. I use, like I say, just a regular leader, monofilament, whatever the case may be, and usually a 9 foot, so that gives me good distance. Like I say, as the day progresses, I'm down to, you know, the 7 foot mark, and that's my limit. After 7 feet of you know, my 2 feet of extra line that I've used to put on 10 or 15 different flies or whatever the case is, I cut that thing off and put on a new one. They're like $5-6 a piece. It's kind of expensive in a sense, but there's nothing like a tapered leader. Just putting on, you know, guys make their own leaders with the different lines and knots all the way through them, spinner things, and it's just a bunch of crap. Okay, all it's going to do is get caught up on stuff. So keep it really, really simple. Fly line, good leader, you know, 9 foot is great, and you know, with a bug like this, like I say, on it, and dropping it into little pools and stuff like that, and giving it some action, giving it some flavor, and trust me, you'll catch lots of fish, especially small little brookies, browns, and little rainbows. And so anyways, I'm gonna leave you for right at the moment, and get back to you on some other tips soon. I've covered quite a bit in this little section. I try and keep it down to 12 minutes, and my next segment I'd like to talk about is approaching the creek, and some of the things you should know about rivers and creeks and how they operate, and the things that can get you more fish is you know, techniques. And these techniques that I'll talk about, I'm sure you'll notice the difference when you use them. They're very, very good techniques. So I'll be back on another video, and we'll talk to you soon. And thanks for all the viewers for watching, and fish on.